go ahead and get this done.
3, 2, 1. I believe you are live.
Welcome to Sunrise School Division Board of Trustees, a special meeting on August the 19th. My name is Paul Mang, I'm the board chair. I'm going to call our meeting to order. And 1.2 is we are going to have O Canada, and we are going to have École du Gold School singing O Canada for us. So if you're able to do so, please stand. Merci to École du Gold School for that recorded O Canada. Thank you for going ahead and doing that. We can't wait till we get back in front of live of kids, and kids can go ahead and do that. We also have a treaty acknowledgement. I'm going to ask Trustee Pachakowski for our treaty acknowledgement, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we acknowledge the traditional land upon which Sunrise School Division resides as Treaty 1 territory. We honor our partnerships with Canada's original peoples and respect the gifts of Indigenous history, culture, and language. We commit to moving forward in a partnership with our communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. Thank you.
Thank you. At our meeting tonight, for the public, just letting you know that we have Superintendent Timko, we have Secretary Treasurer Carlton, we have Assistant Superintendent Julian, and we have board support Stacy Bonato that are with us, and we have all 9 trustees that are here tonight. So 2.1 on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda. So be it resolved that the board approve the agenda. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by
Trustee Pachakowski.
Trustee Pachakowski, seconded by?
I'll second it.
By Trustee Nickel. Thank you. Any comments? Hearing none, we'll vote. Stacy, we'll be able to vote online. Yeah, thank you. I see that. So we're just waiting for one more to vote online. Trustee Barry, are you having trouble joining the meeting? Trustee Barry, are you having difficulty with online connectivity? Ah, perfect. Thank you. 9 in favor. Thanks very much. 3.0 talks about chair's comments. So I certainly wanted to thank the board for coming in and discussing this topic, and thank you to our staff for going ahead and doing this. For the public that are here, there is a motion that is going to be put on the floor, and then each trustee certainly is going to get an opportunity to speak to it, and then we are going to go ahead and vote on it. So there is a motion that is on the floor, and here is the motion. Be it resolved that all students, staff, and visitors continue to wear masks inside school and division facilities whenever they are moving from one area to another, whenever they are within 2 meter space of another person, and at all times on school buses. Be it further resolved that the board revisit mask wearing at the first board meeting in January, or at such time the public health no longer recommends mask use. So I need someone to move that motion.
I'll move that motion.
Moved by Trustee Nicol, seconded by?
Reed.
By Trustee Reed, thank you. So now that it's on the floor, I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to go ahead and speak to it, and then certainly be able to share with the public your thoughts and go on from there. I'm going to start off and I'm going to end. So I want to thank people for the emails. I've received between 15 and 20 emails from people. 75% of the people have been for it. There's been about 25% of the people against it. I've received emails from parents, from teachers, from our union presidents, and I've also received emails from people outside of our school division. I will be letting you know that I'm going to be supporting the motion for mandatory masks. I continue to wear a mask when I'm outside, and going into when I'm outside the home, going into stores. I believe that it's part of my responsibility to keep our students and staff as safe as possible. I am concerned certainly about a potential fourth wave. I want to support the fact that we're going to review the masks. And again, I want to thank people's opinions as they bring them forward. Not everybody is in agreement. And I believe that everybody has the right to the opinion. At the end of the day, I'm going to support whatever the board, the decision of this board with regard to masks. So thank you for that. Trustee Barry, you're next.
Point of order.
Yes, sir.
If the person that makes a motion has first chance to speak and also has the last chance to speak. So I'd like to follow the Robert's Rules of Order.
Thanks, Don. Thanks, Trustee Nicol. You're on the floor. You're up.
All right. I don't even have to say that I support the motion because I moved it, but I'm going to echo what Trustee Magnan said, is that I continue to wear a mask. I believe there's scientific evidence that I've been looking at that masks will prevent the transmission of the COVID virus. And I'm a person that would rather be safe than sorry. I'd rather do something that, even if it only prevents 10% of the COVID, that's better than not having a mask at all. So that's the reason why I'm advocating the mandatory use of the mask. At the same time, though, I think, and it's what we've done in the past, we do have exemptions, for those people that for health reasons cannot wear a mask but could wear a face shield. So I believe that the operation of our school will still allow that to have exemptions, so that I'd like to this be a win-win situation. So those people that would like to wear a mask will be wearing a mask. Those people that cannot, for health reasons, can't, that we allow them to do that. So that's the reason why I'm supporting this. Thank you.
Thanks, Trustee Nicol. I'm going to go to Trustee Barry.
Oh, yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I would support this motion that to make masks mandatory. to myself, it's a no-brainer decision. We have to make everything our best as a board. We're obligated to make a safe working environment for our staff as well as students, as well as the public. And because we can't be assured that everybody's double vaccinated, this is the safest way to have a safe work environment for all involved. So yes, I support it.
Thank you, Trustee Berry. Trustee Harris?
I'm disappointed that the Manitoba government made mask wearing in schools recommended. I wish they had kept it as mandatory. We as trustees must ensure that we provide whatever help we can to ensure the safety of our staff and students. I believe that requires, except for special circumstances, a full mask mandate in the division. Anything else would be carelessness on our part. My family also continues to wear masks when out in public, and we encourage others to do so also. Yes, it's been a long haul, but we are not out of the woods yet. It is better to err on the side of safety. I would especially like to thank those parents and teachers who contacted me via email. In my case, it was over 80% were in favor of wearing masks. And lastly, think positive, stay negative. Thank you.
Thanks, Trustee Harris. Trustee Reed?
Thank you. I support the motion as well. As I find that if the scientists say that, or the doctors say that masks work, so it only makes sense that we should wear masks whenever we go out, particularly in public. And I agree with that. I know it's not always fun wearing a mask, particularly in this hot weather. That I find when I'm breathing, it just seems to make my face hotter. But that's something we have to put up with, just because of the fact that the masks do work. So it seems only logical to wear masks, and that's the reason that I'm in favor of that.
Thanks, Trustee Reed. Did I cut you off? Sorry, Russ. Did you have anything else to say?
That's it. Good.
Okay. Trustee Rowland?
So I would support this motion. Basically, I would like to thank all the parents that did contact me that were in support of having masks for their children in schools. I feel like I am disappointed as well in our provincial government not providing clarity and taking a stand on this more directly based on the information that they readily have available. So with the information that we have available and from our own observations and stuff that's been directed to us from concerned parents, documents and whatnot, I feel like this is a small tool that we could do and use and readily use. Students have been wearing them for already a year and are accustomed to it. And I feel like the students I've spoken to are expecting that they would have to wear masks. I feel it's a tool that we could use to prevent the worst outcome, which would be further lockdown and return to remote learning. I feel that remote learning had the worst impact on our students for mental health. And although there's stress for wearing masks, and nobody wants to be wearing masks anymore, of course, the event of having remote learning occur again would be the worst outcome for our students and would cause more trauma and just overall discouragement for everybody in our community. So I have to support masks from the comments I've received and my own personal opinion on the best way for us to prevent the ultimate worst outcome. Thank you. And also provide a workplace for our staff. I meant to add that we do have a responsibility as employers to provide a safe workplace for our teachers and other staff members who have to show up every day, and we have an obligation to protect them as well. So I feel that's steps we must take to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Rowland. Trustee Duma?
Thank you. I'm not going to be in support of this motion. I'd like to thank the people that have emailed me. I've had people on both sides of the argument give me emails with their ideas and rationale as to why they would be in favor or not in favor. The province decided for this year to say that masks would be strongly recommended, but leaving it open to as an option for people to decide to wear them, and I would prefer to use that option. I think that the second year into COVID, I'm really hoping that things would have loosened up and relaxed from the fact that we've had increased vaccinations and across the province, and I just think that it's time to relax some of the things that are going on. I believe that we can continue to maintain safety by keeping good sanitation and hygiene, and continue with that. I'm very concerned about having the early grades wearing masks. I'm very concerned about that, and I'm also concerned that there isn't enough conversations about the risks and harms of wearing masks over the long term, and I think there needs to be a bigger conversation on it, and I would invite the province to provide more research on it to school boards. So yeah, thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Trustee Duma. Trustee Inslee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to thank the parents of Sunrise School Division that have reached out to me over this last little while, and over 80% of the correspondence that I've received has been in support of not wearing masks, and they want to follow the recommendations of the province to support that masks are recommended but not mandatory. I will not be voting in favour of this motion because of over 80% of the parents who have contacted me have asked that masks become recommended and remain recommended, not mandatory. Parents and individuals have reached out to me with a lot of credible research, scientific supporting data to support that masks do more harm than good. There's a lot of data that supports both sides of the field, and keeping our staff and kids healthy has always been and continues to be my #1 priority. But I have listened to the over 80% of parents that have come to me, and because over 80% do not want masks to be mandatory, that is why I will be voting against this motion. Thank you.
Thanks, Trustee Inslee. Trustee Pachakowski.
So earlier this month, as a few trustees have already mentioned, the province released its Restoring Safe Schools plan, which included a strong recommendation for masks for all students, staff, and visitors. On August 11th, I reached out via social media for feedback with the understanding this board would be faced with the exact decision that we're faced with this evening. And compared to any other topic that I've reached out for since I've been a trustee, I've received more feedback on this than any other by far. It isn't even close. And the feedback I received from families and other residents, you can't argue with the statements made from both sides of the issue, from all areas of the issue. You know, such that proper use and cleanliness of masks are crucial, that they only work if they are clean and worn properly, that masks potentially inhibit learning and concentration for students, not to mention the potential impact on children's mental health. And as a parent, and I'll be quite frank, I mean, I can't argue with those points, and frankly, I don't have the research to indicate one way or the other, but I do share those same concerns. This, however, is a delicate balancing act, and I'm here elected by people to speak for people. So I did receive a large amount of responses to my social media posts, And I want to thank everybody who shared their input and their responses with me. I've heard everything that you've said, and like I said, I think both, you know, from all angles of this issue, there are some really great points and great arguments. And right now, I think, like I said, I mean, I'm elected by people and I have to speak for the people. I know personally, and I will share that because I'm here and I've told this to many people already anyhow. My child would have been wearing a mask no matter what. Like I said, 63% of the respondents have indicated they would like to see masks mandated in our schools for the protection of children in our schools. Therefore, I will be in support of this motion. And I would like to see us keep a close eye on it, obviously, and adjust as we need moving forward, as I do not want this to be a permanent thing, much like I don't think anybody else does. I think that's the one thing most respondents could agree on, was that we're all tired of COVID, and there's no two ways about that. I never heard anybody say they were, you know, happy with the situation we're in, and we all want the same long-term outcome, and we simply have different opinions as how we're going to get there. So again, I know personally myself, I respect all those different opinions. I truly appreciate and thank everybody for their feedback. And lastly, I would just like to encourage everybody to have an open mind, be respectful of others' opinions, and know that we will get to the finish line with this. I know some people don't believe that, but I firmly believe we will. And I don't know when that's going to be, hopefully sooner than later. But again, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and that's it for me.
Thanks, Trustee Pachakowski. So I'm going to return to Trustee Nicol.
I'll close debate then. I'm just going to want to indicate another reason that I think is very important for the mask is that we have to realize that the K-12 are not going to be vaccinated. There is no vaccine that is approved for them yet. They were talking about having it by Christmas time. Hopefully that's the case. And then maybe that's the time you can revisit and say, okay, now everybody will be vaccinated in school that wants to be vaccinated. But right now, the parents of K-12 would like to have their kids to be vaccinated, but they're not allowed to have, well, shouldn't say K-12 because they changed to 2009, I think, or something like that. So they changed the date a little bit, but there's a huge number of students that are not vaccinated. And those are the students that I'm really concerned about is they're 12 and up, they have the ability to get vaccinated. So there's a little bit of protection there, but there is no protection for the kids, K-6. And that's the kids that I would like the rest of the trustees to think about when we make the vote there, that by wearing a mask, we are safeguarding those K-6 students. Thank you.
Thanks, Trustee Nicol. Okay, hearing no more debate, I'm going to call the question, and we're going to do this manually around the table. So it's either a yes or no coming out. Trustee Barry, what do you say?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Reed?
Yes.
Trustee Rowland?
Yes.
Trustee Nicol?
Yes.
Trustee Duma?
No to the motion.
Trustee Inslee?
No to the motion.
Trustee Pachakowski?
Yes to the motion.
And Trustee Magna is a yes to the motion. So the motion passes at 7-2. Thank you. Further on, we have no reason to go into in camera. Mr. Carlton, do we have any questions that have come up through the process?
I have nothing to my email. I do notice there are a fair number of people watching, so if I do receive something afterwards, we'll forward to the trustees.
Okay.
Chairman, may I speak?
Yes, sir.
So I don't know if we mentioned at the beginning of the meeting about questions. Did I miss that, or did we mention that? Because we should give some time for people to submit questions.
I do have if anybody is watching, Jared, as opposed to, or Trustee Pachkowski, as opposed to just listening, I do have the banner up that does indicate, but if anybody is just listening and not watching on screen, we'll take questions to my email address, which is scarleton, CARLETON @sunrisesd.ca. Certainly, during the meeting preferably, but like I mentioned, if I get something after the fact, it will certainly be forwarded to trustees.
Just a reminder to trustees that we have, and Kathy and Scott, please remind me, but we have our first meeting. We're meeting back after this is the 31st. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
just
Kathy.
if we're giving a couple of minutes in case people are typing an email off to Scott, I wanted to just take a minute to say thank you to the 9 trustees for their diligent work in receiving and answering emails and taking all of the information into consideration. To let any of the public know who are watching, we will now work on a communication out to parents and to community members. We will also have a staff handbook for all of our staff, and we'll update our training modules as well so that all staff will go through training modules now that we have that information. So there'll be communication coming out, hopefully tomorrow, but if not, first thing Monday morning.
Thanks, Kath. I appreciate that. Any comments from any of the trustees? And Scott, have we heard anything from anybody?
Still no questions via email, Paul.
Okay. I think that Jared, have we given Trustee Pachikowski, have we given everybody an ample time after we ended to ask questions, do you think?
I'm going to say yes. And I mean, if we do get questions, I would still encourage anybody watching to ask questions and send them into scarleton at sunrise.sd.ca. So that's SCARLETON at sunrisesd.ca. And the board will respond to you. I mean, I don't know how long we wait around for, but yeah, I mean, if you have questions, absolutely encourage you to ask any questions you have, and we will respond via email or letter in some form. And I think that's a fair amount of time, Paul. I mean, it's tough with this type of meeting. So.
Okay. So do you know what? Since there are no questions currently right now from the public, we're going to go to an adjournment. We have a motion to adjourn. Someone? Motion to adjourn.
Trustee Pachikowski makes a motion.
Trustee
Motion to adjourn.
Pachikowski. Thank you very much to our staff for the work that you did certainly on this. Thank you very much to all of our trustees. Not an easy discussion, and certainly as people call you, certainly share the information that was talked about and decided on tonight. But hopefully we're going to get off to a great school year, and I think that we're in good hands. To everyone, good night, and thank you very much for being here. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.